one.
Go.
Go.
This is the OKest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, if that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is OKest Hunter.
Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the OKest Hunter podcast, the okayest podcast in all of podcast land, especially if you're a deer hunter. We do have a network of shows that I like to make note of every now and again, just to remind people that if you don't like this show, you might like one of the other ones on the network.
You'll probably like them better.
Yeah, or if you do like this show, you might like some of the other shows on the network. We have everything from trapping to fishing to upland to waterfowl to
Cooking
and Western hunting and bow making. And yeah, we've got it covered pretty well. So you can find other podcasts on our network by going to Spotify and clicking on OKS Podcast Network on our show, or same thing on Apple, or you can go to okshunter.com and go to our podcast network page, and that'll link you to any of the other shows on the network. That being said, we are brought to you by Nosler. Go to nosler.com. Be sure to use code OHP and save some money on their stuff. I'm wearing this nice Nosler vest, which came in handy when the temperatures went from 80 to 40.
Yeah, she's a little
last 3
chilly this
days.
week.
It's
A little
like
chilly.
came in real handy, I guess. I did not know I was gonna need that. So they do have apparel, hats, obviously lots of ammunition.
Ammo is kind of their thing, but the apparel is damn nice too.
They also have cans or silencers, if you will. So that's Nope, I'm just on mute. We're just on mute.
Hey,
Why would that ever be a thing?
why?
I know why.
Why wouldn't we mute?
Because
our
I'm in the
podcast?
same session I was in last time, and I ended with music outro.
Oh, so you muted us.
And it stayed. And I didn't. It doesn't. It's a pop out. I have to pop it out to see that. I think you guys should be able to hear us now. My goodness gracious.
Well, I'm pretty proud of you for finding that so quickly. For those of you who just missed listening live, we just talked about a lot of really. No, really, there wasn't much.
You'll
good
get it in
stuff.
podcast
Yeah,
land.
yeah,
It's the normal beginning stuff. Just talking about how good the Quick Trip coffee is and how great our partners are. Latitude had they just launched their butter smooth like line.
Is that what it's called?
It has the name butter in it
Really?
because it's butter smooth.
Chunky butter muffin.
I'm getting. Well, I should know what it's called. I really should.
I haven't seen anything about this.
It's super lightweight. It's hydrophobic, so it doesn't take on water. So when it's really actually kind of tricky to do any adjusting on the bridge, traditionally, which you probably have experienced, it's like, oh, you can make all these adjustments. Sure, you can, but like, it's a lot of effing around. The new hydrophobic line, this butter stuff, is like they're showing demonstrations of it, and you're like, "Well, how is this even possible? Is it safe?" Like,
It's gonna hold me.
yeah, but I don't know how they built this technology, but
Cool.
it's there. So pretty neat. Check that out. Rack Hub put a post out today where it's like, "Where would you hang the antlers?" ABC. I was like, "Let's see the whole alphabet," because hopefully everywhere.
More options.
Not be so minimal about it. Like,
More options.
yeah, you're kind of excluding all the other walls. Let's be more inclusive about where we can put our antlers. Okay, Rack Hub, let's get it together and remember who you are.
I've got most of the alphabet in my basement. I had a gentleman come pick up
Oh yeah.
an antler rebuild that I did, and he had it on a mount already. And so what I like to do is when they come down, I'll hang it up on the wall so
smart.
they can kind of get a look at it, and it just kind of looks better that way. It's more fun than just like handing it to him at the door and like, here you go. And the guy walks in and he's like, geez, these all yours? And I was like,
You would think maybe they're not because I
yeah.
do this work.
And he's like, wow, you have a lot. I was like, yeah, it's a lot of antlers. I know. It's a lot of sheds and just all the shit.
You do have a lot.
It's all the shit.
We were just talking about how great your basement is compared to this basement. I think I got everybody. So topic today, I don't really have one because it's this weird, awkward time of year. Turkey season's on its last week. We're heading into a holiday weekend. I'm sure people are going to be pretty checked out. If you're traveling with family, I'll try to keep the swears to a minimum on this episode. The call line is open. I'm not sure that our live listeners will be able to hear it. Of course, you'll get it in podcast land either way. We'll find out if someone calls in, if it is functional or not. Here's what happened. Skype got deprecated officially. Now they're forcing me to switch to Teams, and I don't know how to log into it. I don't know if my phone number is preserved. I don't know anything about it, but that just happened today. And they've been warning me about it for a long time, but I was reluctant to switch until I had to, so now I have to. That being said, the program I use works to take calls in just fine. But traditionally, I was using my Skype phone number to call into it, and that seemed to work really well. It was very jerry-rigged, but it worked.
So this is the first go around with the new.
I haven't tried it this way
phone
in a
number.
while.
Yeah.
So if there's an issue, the only issue, it'll only impact our live listeners. That's the issue.
Sorry, guys.
So, but it might not. I don't know. I actually don't know. I have no way to test it until when we're doing this. So that's not true. I do have a way to test. I just didn't get to it yet. So there's that. Anyway, topic. I was telling Derek about these poems. We've gotten a lot of comments on these like poetic posts that are just words on the screen for our Instagram and Facebook. And people are like, you guys should be writers, not podcasters, and all this stuff.
They're very philosophic, but like in layman's terms, but like put nicely.
Yeah. And they're not all that way. They're like some of them we try to do more humor. Like the one that went out today was like, who are you at your camp? Are you the cook, the killer, or the tag along? Like what? So it's fun. But I've had a few poetic ones, and I don't know what got me on the track of it today, but I had this thought about, whenever my mind takes me somewhere, I just try to lock in and like mind dump it out onto
Just follow
something.
it.
So
Follow the breadcrumbs.
dump it out, and then I try to reshape it and go back and whatever
Are
all
you
the stuff.
doing this while you're dumping usually?
Yeah,
The
sometimes.
mind dump and the body dumps at the same time.
Yeah, similar.
Sorry.
Well, the one for today was that I had, and it's not posted yet, but there's an issue going on right now that I don't have a lot of deep knowledge in. I'm certainly not an expert. I'm no Mark Kenyon. We had Mark on the show a while back talking about a topic similarly related to this. But there is a reconciliation bill that was introduced late into the night, like the beginning of this month. Now that bill is going up to the House rules. I don't know terminology here. Tomorrow at 1 a.m. So it feels like tonight, but it's going to be May 21st, Wednesday, 1 a.m. to get voted on. And it's bypassing a certain federal program provision, which is a bit of a slippery slope with how it's happening, because if it weren't happening that way, instead of needing 50 votes, you could get away with having 60. And those numbers matter. Doing it late at night seems like in the dark of night,
It
a little
seems
like
sketchy.
we don't want public input. So we're going to do it when like most people aren't awake. So the point that we're kind of circling around here.
Yeah, the bill is for the sale of nearly 500,000 acres. Is that right?
Yeah.
Of-
So I have some notes on the
Yeah.
on the screen here that I'll try to capture.
drop the actual facts.
Without trying to reverberate them too much. And it's a 1,100 page bill or something, like 600 page bill. It's a lot. It's how many pages is the bill? I thought I had it somewhere in here. 1,116 page bill. That's why I had the 1,106 in my mind. But includes selling over 500,000 acres of federal public land in Utah. So it's BLM and Nevada, targeting areas for economic development, mining, and infrastructure projects. The bill obviously includes a whole bunch of other stuff. It's the big, beautiful bill, or whatever the heck it's called. But in there is this other stuff, and it's just kind of like tucked in. And the land sales are embedded within they're embedded within the 1,100 page bill that encompasses extensive tax cuts, spending reductions, and policy changes, blah, 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 blah. The controversial provisions, the bill proposes increased leasing of public lands for drilling, mining, logging, along with reduced royalty rates for resource extraction companies, raising concerns about environmental impacts. Concern. But BLM lands, as far as I understand, which we were just discussing, can be used for mining, logging, farm, like
cattle
grazing
grazing and whatnot.
So I don't know how much of a problem. And I'm very middle of the road politically. I'll just come out and say it on this podcast.
And this is not, we're not trying to have a political
Correct.
discussion. This is a bipartisan issue of
Yes,
getting rid of public lands that belong to the people.
bipartisan is the word I'm looking for. And that said, regardless of what you're selling land for, the justification for that can happen. I'm willing to hear it. I think it can go to a point. But there is a point where, like, don't get rid of it. It won't come back.
Yeah.
That is like a bit of a definition of like the slippery slope, like give an inch, take a mile kind of thing. Once it goes, it's not coming back.
No. Especially if it's being used for, a lot of the talk has kind of been for infrastructure near urban areas and building better not low income, but affordable housing.
Mhm.
So you know that is never coming back into circulation of publicly used land.
Mhm.
If it's being used for infrastructure, for building houses, it is
Yeah,
now
so
part of the
Yes.
glob. It's
Yes.
part of the goop. It's part of the thing that we're all trying to escape. And it's not coming back.
No.
So that's why we got a little bit
There's even
up in arms.
there's division that's being sparked within the Republican Party. Like we were reading about Representative Ryan Zinke. I think
Of
that's how you say his
Montana.
name. And and he's opposing the land sales, advocating for improved management instead. There's a lot to unpack. There are still some specifics that aren't known. So like maybe it can get more refined, but like the way that Chainsaw has been taken to certain things, politically speaking, like makes me just want to pump the brakes a little bit here. And there are easy ways to get your voice heard. Howl for Wildlife Organization, BHA, and there's some others too that kind of have like a pre-canned, like, hey, here's who you need to call based on your area code and your phone number. You can leave a voicemail. Here's a bit of a script if you want to work off of that. Also, if you want to send an email, here's a templated email. Feel free to go in and edit as you see fit, and it'll send it to the representatives that represent you in your state, in your region.
and you can do that as well. It is something that I think can feel and be heated. Um, I just think it's important that people be heard. Like that's why we have representatives. They represent us, and if we have an opinion to share about something that we feel strongly about, then do it. And even at the most local level possible, when I moved into this house, we moved in for a number of reasons, some good, some bad. like, but like one of the things, there's a road that goes through our subdivision it was a dead end, and that actually was an attractive feature of this community because there was a really low rate of traffic because there was a dead end. Everyone in the community knows you can't get through, and there was a wetland right there. So I actually loved going there with my dogs. It was just state land. I could putz around and look for deer sign. There's nothing to hunt there, but it's just an easy way to get out of the house. In 5 minutes, I can be there with the dog walk and like be in a little bit of nature. And there's this huge green space. Well, you've seen my backyard. It's all hill. And this green space had a baseball diamond, a playground, and a football field, basically.
Flat playing
Flat.
space.
Right a block down the road. Well, then the proposed solution was to punch the street through because the city's growing. We need more infrastructure to connect things. But there's another street like a few miles down that would actually make way more sense and was better designed for that punch through. And it was kind of like, I'm getting in the weeds on something stupid. I'll circle back here. But the mayor at the time lived on the opposite side and just wanted an easy path to like the supermarket over here. I shit you not. And I went and met I went to the town hall committees and voiced I'm moving to this neighborhood. That's probably one of the reasons we bought the house. We have kids. The green space is attractive. Our backyard's kind of non-existent unless we're into sledding in the winter, which is great. But then I can't, like, there's no to play catch with my kids. Like, this green space is amazing for that. Blah blah blah. You're gonna put a big retention pond in. Not super thrilled about that. Like, statistically, a lot of kids drown in those things. Like, a little bit sketchy. It's right by a freaking playground, which is now next to a busy road. But they held all these town hall meetings for me to go voice my opinion, for the community to have a say in it. The stuff that's happening right now, they're trying to do it in a way that you can't voice your opinion or have a say, or do it in such a way that like it's going to minimize the ability to be heard. Eventually, I went and met with the mayor.
Did you really?
And I almost punched him in the face. The guy was a bully. He was a straight up bully, and I was very, very apparent that he had very selfish reasons to do it. Oddly enough, he was the final vote, and he tipped the scale, which I didn't even know was possible. Like, someone didn't show up to represent. He tipped the scale, and I was like, "What's that even fucking legal?"
That doesn't sound like it's by the book.
I was like, it was so botched, man. And like the company, they didn't bid. They only bid one company, which he was buddies with the owner of the company. Just straight up
Wow.
like some shady shit in this like little town. So I imagine when you like scale up to Washington, the magnitude of scale of the shit that can happen is like whoever is getting their skids greased and blah 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 all this stuff. But you have to be able to have a say in these things. And it turns out the road did get punched through, and it's not all bad. Like there had to be certain concessions. Like, okay, if you're gonna do it, you need to put in new sidewalks and lamps and a boardwalk. Like, we had the ability to then say, okay, fine, the road's gonna go through, but now because it is, we want these things in place. It's like if the land is going to be sold, then it's like, okay, well, what say do we have if it happens, or does it not need to happen? And having as much runway as possible to like have a say in it, I think should be important. So doing the shit in the dark of night is concerning.
I think that's what one of the things that you and I were talking about beforehand too, when we were doing a little search, is not just obviously this is how kind of many things work and work with the government, but it's the fear that this may be the tip of the iceberg or maybe the last step on a slippery slope. That like if this can be done and kind of slid in and get done with a lesser voting process where you need less votes to make it happen, and it can kind of be done in that fashion by maybe bypassing the normal procedure, that we fear that a lot more of our federally owned lands could be also under the gun.
Yep.
Or under the chopping block or under the knife or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at those.
I'm not either, man. So, but then like, so to go back to the poetic narrative is the thought that I just entered my brain at random, that I jotted down, that I'm shaping into a post to put out, that like ties us maybe a little bit, but not entirely, is public land is something that we love and cherish. And I'm not in Utah. I'm not in Nevada. I don't know the impact completely of those 500,000 acres. I mean, we have a lot of acres here in Wisconsin that we can go. Excuse me. I just like.
Well, Looks painful. Sorry.
Well, I'm just dying over here.
Oh boy.
Just choked on my own spit.
That's really take a moment, my friend. That was rough. That was rough to watch.
Maybe too much coffee.
Is it
I'm
the
really
wrong
struggling.
Was it the wrong temperature?
Yeah, it was from the vats of coffee.
Rookie mistake.
Might be the weirdest thing that has happened to me on live air so far. Live air.
Glad you're gonna need the Heimlich.
I'm just struggling. Wow, that was super fucking weird. I think I just threw up my mouth a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Now I'm totally distracted.
You're talking about your poem. Your
Oh, yeah.
poetry a little bit,
Stupid
and
poem.
how we really value our public lands here. Maybe you don't have a connection to the ones in Nevada and Utah, but
When I was growing up, it sounds like I'm crying, but I'm not.
you are a little bit.
No, I am.
But it's mostly from choking. I
Yeah.
think.
And yeah, it's still happening. This is like the longest thing that's ever happened to me. The ability to go outside and enjoy public lands was like a saving grace. It was like a playground, an infinite playground. The way that I played in the woods was like through a ton of imagination. Some of it was not imagined because I got in trouble for building fires several times. I think I've had the fire department call me like 3 times as a kid. I wasn't an arsonist. I just thought it'd be cool to have a fire at my campsite that I built in the middle of the woods.
I hear that.
I spent a lot of time climbing trees, sharpening sticks, tracking animals, especially whitetail. I would try to get lost in the woods on purpose to like challenge myself. I'd almost always find my way back. I got lost one time, like legitimately. And my dad had to play music really loud to get me to come back. It worked.
That's how you found them.
Yeah. And he's like, I figured he'd make my way back. I was like 6. So,
Jeez.
yeah, the woods are a special place, man. And there's, I mean, we live in a community, at least I do, and I think you do too, where, dude, forests are just getting cut down to build more subdivisions constantly. It's like even the public land I have out here is shrinking, which isn't saying a lot because it's already pretty damn small. Like, how much smaller is it going to get?
Yeah.
I mean, just from a habitat standpoint, I don't know how these deer are going to live. They're going to just bed down in our backyards, and their food's going to be from the bird feeders. I don't know.
We see that a ton in a lot of communities already, right? That's where all the problem is with collisions and deer and having to hire sharpshooters to take care of the local wildlife population because they're eating Betty's petunias in the backyard, and like that's we've been encroaching every year we've been around. It's not getting better.
And so, at a wide scale, at a large level, I mean, if someone were to tell you that they're going to sell, how many acres is Nicolet National Forest? Do you know offhand?
I don't.
It's a lot, right? Like it's like
Couple
I think it's
100,000.
800,000 acres.
So, yeah, that sounds about right.
Nicolet. It is. Oh, I was way off. Well, 661 and 400,000 acres of northeastern Wisconsin, but I'm seeing another thing that says it's 1.5 million acres of Wisconsin's Northwoods. That's a lot. So someone said they're going to sell 500,000 acres. That's about half, or depending on what number you're looking at, maybe quite a bit of it. Like, what would that do for you and how you live your life up north and how you hunt and where you grew up building memories?
I mean, I think, and you and I were talking about it earlier. It obviously have an impact on me, but when we do something of that magnitude with our public lands, it's taking away from future generations. It's not just us. So yeah, it impacts us immediately, but the generations of our kids that won't have those opportunities, and then their kids, and like we said, that stuff doesn't come back. So when we were in southwestern Wisconsin doing our camping weekend this weekend, we were lucky that Wisconsin had tons of water access easement for trout fishing. There was some spots to hunt turkeys and turkey hunter access, and I got to drag my kid around. I got to drag Gus around on these public properties and do some fishing because that was offered to us. And I think that's probably why it hits a little bit harder. I think as a younger man, I didn't quite think so much about the lasting impacts of stuff like that. But I think watching my son get to enjoy that this weekend and knowing that every time one of these things happens for political or whatever reasons, those opportunities are taken away from generation after generation after generation. It just hits a lot harder.
Yeah.
You're not making any more land.
No,
We're
that's
using it
it's-
and consuming it faster than we ever have.
Yep.
It's scary.
And so the poem stuff goes back to like, that's how I saw the woods through the lens of as a kid and as an adult. Short of like the two things that give me the most grounding and peace and set me back to neutral and over anything else in life is getting outside, but specifically into the woods or some sort of property or some land where I can like go do activities outside. I don't know why it's doing that now.
It just stopped making the humming noise.
Yeah, pretty weird. Did I unplug something? Can people still hear me? There's people in here, but maybe the humming thing just stopped. I don't even know if anybody hears the humming stuff. I don't know. Hello? You there? We there? Yeah, we're back. Got it. Okay. I don't know. And my throat's still totally trashed. Yeah, I'm just gonna assume we're good. Nothing has changed.
That was weird.
I apologize to the listeners for the shit show that's happening with my throat right now from whatever just happened, but also the fact that like we've spent most of our time talking about shit and I keep interrupting myself with stuff. But the point is, I found no better way to live in the moment than to see it through my kids' eyes or to go experience nature. Those two things added together is a whole nother level. And to what Derek just said, like, if we don't have this resource available for our kids and their kids and so forth, the fuck are we doing? I just, I've never seen a kid light up. Like, the best memories I have with my kids, and I think their best memories, because they tell me, are from doing stuff outside. And I don't mean just going to the frickin' local park to play in the jungle gym. I mean like going out to explore an adventure and have fun. Like go check trail cameras, go shed hunting, go morel mushroom hunting, go shoot archery, and then like be outside when I'm hunting so I can connect the dots and bring them with. Like those things are critically important. And I don't own land. Maybe someday I will. Until then, I enjoy public spaces in the outdoors because that's what I have access to. I don't know. So if people are trying to do things to remove it, this might be this could be the tip of the spear. I could be completely misjudging the whole entire thing, be incredibly wrong. But just because it's happening, there is a concern. And that concern should be voiced and we should address it just to be safe.
And you have to have the conversation about it,
Yep.
right? No matter what the ulterior motive is or the, finance, like whatever it is, it needs to be talked about. People need to be aware so we can gauge what's going on with that's our property as,
Yep.
as Americans. And that's one thing that I think about a lot, but I think it's lost on a lot of the, bureaucrats and the people who are representing us is like, when I think of the American dream and freedom, what America stands for, I think of the ability to do those things outdoors in outdoor space, to be able to get away and go to like that to me is like freedom.
Yep.
Where I think like a lot of it gets caught in the, the everyday life of like, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, it's important to have like financial plans for small businesses and be able to have affordable housing. Those are wonderful things, but like, that's not all the American dream is a financial destination. There's so much more to that idea.
If
To
we don't have
many of us,
if we have all the money and nowhere to go do the thing that we love to
that's
do,
not
then like
what I consider
there's gonna be the
freedom.
suicide rate's gonna go up.
That's not what I consider freedom, right? Like
Yeah.
we feel alive when we are outdoors, solo or with family and friends, doing what feels natural.
We are always and always have been drawn to be outdoors, which is interesting because we work so hard to be indoors. At some point, it's like totally necessary. I mean, the COVID boom, I think, is fascinating because it led so many people outdoors because we got
reminded
stuck
everyone.
inside. We're like, we need to go do something.
It reminded everyone that you're meant to be in.
Have you ever had
the
like
sunshine?
I don't know what they did
You're
in school. I know a lot of schools went virtual, but like for us in the corporate world, it was we were being told you have to go for walks. You need to disconnect. This level of connectivity at the office, you have your scuttlebutt. Whatever the fuck, what's this word I'm looking for here? That where people chat around the water cooler.
Water cooler talk, and
There's
I don't know what
the
it's
word about
called.
scuttle something.
Scuttlebutt.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what that. I don't know. What I'm
Maybe
trying
you
to
just
say.
had bugs in your water cooler.
But like, people would stop by your desk or your workstation, or you'd go get a drink, or you'd go get some more coffee. And in those moments where you're waiting for the coffee to brew, you're talking to people, you're up and about, you're doing stuff, you're working together. When you're at home on your computer, and that's the only thing you're doing, it's like you need to go freaking unplug. And like, there's actually just a study that was released that like people that work from home are actually really productive, contrary to popular belief. But it comes with its own challenges. To that end, like, yeah, it just kind of goes to prove the point that we have this innate need to be outside to some capacity to feel sane. That's why I love like all the movies that have people that are in prison. It's like, you're gonna go sit in a dark hole with no sunlight, and it's like you just need a fucking window.
I think that
Like
was
just a window is enough
that
at that
was
point.
that was one of the beautiful things about this past weekend. And we mentioned the Gerber gear in the beginning.
Being
I
in
don't know if you
prison?
could hear our audio. Yeah, about my time in prison. No, but so my son came along for the guys' weekend. He's the only kid on the trip. He's 8. I brought his Game Boy. He likes to play his Game Boy. Brought a book, and he brought a couple toys. But that Game Boy wasn't switched on one time all weekend. It was Gerber game. And watching him, Eric had all the cool. We had machetes and plethora of knives and pliers and saws, and all that kid wanted to do was like whittle sticks, chop down ferns, and like we got a lot of be carefuls and safety talks. But watching him do that, and like knowing that he loves playing his game, like he loves games. I asked him like 4 or 5 times, "Hey, you want me to bring the Game Boy?" Or nope, I don't need it. And I was like, yes, I was
Yeah.
like, win.
Yep.
Like he's enjoying this shit so much more because that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a good gear switch a little bit, which is the title of this episode, because we're really kind of talking about at some point switching gears out of turkey season and deer hunting. But it was kind of cool. I hadn't actually done a literal you camp and hunt. I've done like a hunt camp where you're at, a destination with your hunting pals. It's usually an Airbnb, some sort of cabin, or like I've even done like motels and stuff. I've never literally camped, because typically, and I think I would like to, in September or October, you would have a camp and you go hunt. And Kevin Vistison is known for this with his teepee tent.
Yeah, up in Michigan.
Plenty of others are as well. Like it's a pretty common thing. But doing it in the spring was like great because the weather was fine mostly. And we got a campsite and set up our tents and had fire. Like it was awesome. And Gerber has all this camping stuff they just brought to market this year. We had plates. We had a flat top griddle for pancakes, which we used. We had a frying pan that we used for your brats, and also I think scrambled eggs.
Yep.
The sporks and the utensils were perfect. Like everything about it was pretty great. Like and what I like, Gerber's a price point product that you're not losing out on so much quality. It's not like Montana Knife Co. You're paying $600 for a blade. I'm sure you could spend a lot of money on this stuff, but like it's an approachable price point from a brand that we've know, like, and trust, that's been around forever. And the products were really fun to use. Like it made the experience a little bit better, I thought.
They were fun for most of us. There's a story that Gus has been telling every adult that we have come across. And it's about Tyler. So Tyler, co-founder of Okayas Hunter with Eric Kohner and host of Updeck, he had brought some strawberries and all the fixings because we had Keegan to do some photos of this Gerber camping gear in action. And there was a really nice knife set and cutting board. And it was like, okay, it's time to do some slicing and dicing and get some photos. And my son Gus wants to be involved in everything and just wants everything. So like,
yes,
like, you want a hat? Yeah, I want the hat. Oh, give me, like, he wants it all. So Keegan's like, I need somebody to cut up some strawberries. Talking to the adults, and my son is like, oh, I'll do it. I was like, all right, bud, you can give it a go. And so we had like the giant bin of strawberries, and Gus picks out the knife, and I'm kind of watching over him, and he helps out in the kitchen. He's used knives before, and cut up all the strawberries, jigged the things out, filled up the whole bowl. I was like, good work, bud. And then Tyler was gonna cut up the onion. He's like, oh, these are a little hard. Do you know how to cut up an onion, Gus? And Gus was like, no, I don't. And he was like, oh, I'll teach you, and he shows him how to cut it in half, and they're talking about the stem and all the layers. And then he's going to slice it in half horizontally. So you got to be really careful when you do this part, because if you touch that blade, and he slices right across his thumb. And Gus is like, did you cut yourself? And he's like, yeah, I did. and immediately the blood is gushing. Brand new Gerber knife. It was
It
sharp
was
as hell.
super sharp.
And then Tyler, he kind of put it on that at home. He doesn't have any sort of knife that's nearly that nice or
Well,
sharp.
they had
So
yeah,
he's not used to it.
one of the knives that were using were like these like kitchen knives almost.
Yeah.
Like,
Standard butcher, like a pointed butcher knife.
and they came in a really nice, like, I don't know
A
what
soft
you call
case.
yeah, soft case. I don't know, like I'm making this harder than it needs to be. It's called the Complete 3-piece knife set, and complete has the word eat at the end in big letters. It's affordable. It's $100, $90, and you can actually save if you use the code OHP on this, of course. But bringing camping with that soft case was pretty nice.
Yeah.
These knives were fucking sharp.
Yeah,
Like, these are
one
knives you
serrated
probably have in your
blade.
kitchen that are really sharp. So you're
Yeah.
not bringing like your fillet knife to cut fish. Like, these were purpose driven for like cutting up veggies and fruits and probably some meat if we didn't have
For
any.
sure.
we probably could have cooked up some fish, but
We were hoping to slice through
Yeah.
some turkey breast, but
We
that
didn't
did
get
not
any
work
turkeys.
out that way.
Yeah, that's right. How it went. I'm scared to drink anything now because like I'm gonna have a problem again. But Elijah said, "I love to take my girls to the river, bays on the river, and treasure hunt. They love it." He also said, "Has anyone else noticed how much prime farmland and just land in general is being built on?" Dude, it feels. I'm sure it's always felt this way for people.
Yeah.
I feel like the rate at which it's happening is increasing because we're getting so efficient at building houses. Like, there are these cookie cutter template houses. Get your pre-canned house, build on this plot. Blah, 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 blah. New plot of land has now been subdivided, and you have another new subdivision. It's insane. I remember talking to my boss. I want to show him Spartan Forge, and he is looking. He's like, "Oh, my app doesn't show this construction that's happened. The whole forest is gone. This is all being subdivided." And
Where
he's
you
like,
used to hunt?
yeah, and he's like, "Good thing I have this app because the other one didn't show any of that stuff, and I'd have to drive past this, which I don't do too often, to know until it's season. So, like, if I would have planned on hunting there next season, I would have been, pretty sorely surprised to see that there's no more trees here because it's all houses. Like, it's insane how much is being developed, and understandably, there's a growing population.
Just north of here, like when I go home sometimes, drive by. I don't know if you know where Dave lives.
I
Like,
don't.
that area is, was all
Booming.
farm fields. And
'Kay.
now every time which is like every couple of months, it's like the subdivision has grown by 2 miles. And it's
Keeps going.
literally disappearing before our eyes.
It's scary. Anyway, the point being, it should be there for the next generation. And we've heard this narrative so much. It doesn't seem to impact you until it impacts you. And that's a common human thing. Like, what's in it for me? We're selfish by nature. So I have these tattoos, like, to remind myself to not be selfish because, like, I have to work hard at it. But the point being that, oh shit, now I have kids and I see it through this lens of a dad. Now it means
Changes.
something different. Like, it shouldn't have to be that way where it has to impact you for you to care. But trust us when we say you should care if you don't.
That's what's so nice about the things you mentioned before with the wildlife organizations like BHA, and there's many others who have done the legwork for you as far as contacting representatives. Like, when you go on there and they have like a take action page on BHA, just Google BHA take action page. You type in your address and it will auto populate the email address of all of your representatives
Yep,
and
that's
send
right.
it to them for you.
Yep.
Because doing that yourself, now it would be better to make phone calls, but making it easy to do it is everything.
Yeah.
Because everyone's busy. No one wants
Dude,
to take time out.
it's
But
so
please,
easy.
just do it. And
Yeah.
if you're a younger listener, when I was younger, I didn't take that super seriously and like it wasn't that big a deal. It is. It is. Just trust us.
Well,
just
and,
do
and
it.
this is where you can
Please.
see if your voice counts or not. We do have a caller on the line. I can't make out I think it might be Calder. Howdy, you're live on the show. I think we can hear you. Can you hear us? Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
You kind of called it the new number, the new
Oh,
setup.
let's
which
try
was
this. No,
gonna be
that says
tough.
unmute. Can you hear me now?
I fix this problem? We should be able to know that I have access to turn anything else on here. Test. No, nothing's working. What else can I do to fix this? Because we heard it before. Oh, remember it stopped making the hissing sound?
Mm-hmm. Could that have been the? No, that wasn't the call line, was it?
Yeah, that's what was making it. So I wonder if something just. It says he's on the line right now, but I can't hear him. I think it's Calder. I don't know how to update my audio settings on this app.
Sorry, dude.
Trying to figure it out here. Let me try again in a little bit if you're hearing me, and I'm going to just drop out of this and jump back in and see if I can't get it to like start over. So hang tight here. You can hear like the annoying stuff, I think. Ready, connect.
Letter.
No, it's still not doing it. Something happened. Man, like these audio things you think would like eventually stop happening to me because I've been doing this for so long. But technology keeps changing. Ready, connection, crypto. Weird.
I just saw a post from one of the BHA representatives here, who has the Capitol switchboard number for that land sale that's happening at 1 a.m. Well, the vote for the budget reconciliation bill. It's really our last chance to remove that provision or have it changed
Okay.
because it's going to vote. They have Aaron Hey Bison has the Capitol switchboard number, which is 202-224-3121. And that can connect you to your local rep's office, and you can tell them to oppose the sale of these public lands
Okay.
and get things started. So if you're looking for something to do while we reroute our phone lines and get things going, make a quick call, 202-224-3121. I will be calling on my drive home today. I've already sent all my emails. We'll probably do that again and make a call just to leave a message and let them know that constituents are not wanting this. Keep public lands in public hands.
Very nice. Thanks for digging that up while I try to like deal with whatever the heck is happening here.
Yeah, no worries. It's important stuff.
Yeah, usually we're hearing all that like your call is not connected, blah 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 blah.
And now we hear nothing.
And I'm not hearing any of that. I've tried to join several times and I hear nothing. So something has happened that I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't have a way to fix it right now. So that's gonna have to get revisited later. I think my microphone is in use, so I don't think it's not like understanding what is happening. So no calls. That's unfortunate.
Sorry, guys.
You can put your comments in here. We'll read the comments off. What a rambly episode.
It's all right. Switching gears.
Gears. Yeah, so let's talk about deer for a little bit. Like
For deer.
yeah,
deer.
just like a little tiny
Talk
bit.
about deer.
Did you do any scouting? First of all, the camp stuff was amazing. Like
Camping was fun.
turkey
It was a
hunting
good
was
time.
fun. Camp was great. All that stuff was pretty amazing. Catching fish. I didn't catch any trout. I don't know what the hell. They were
Caught a
hard to catch.
bluegill though. Two
Two
bluegills.
bluegills. Yeah. Most
In a bluegillless water, bluegill-less,
that was nice.
but it wasn't bluegill-less.
But did you see any deer? Do you see any deer sign? Do you think this would be an area that you'd like to potentially hunt
Oh,
for
I
deer?
saw-
Because
I
it looks
saw a
pretty
property.
deery.
I saw a property that I'd really like to hunt. I may have told Matt that I was going to go look up on top of this ridge and blast the call just to see if there was anything over there, but I didn't really care if there was turkeys over there. I just wanted to go scout that real quick. And yeah, I was secretly dropping pins. I did not get to go do as much looking as I wanted. We put on, Matt's watch said he did 8 miles on Saturday of walking,
Wow.
and Gus was with us the whole time, so he was ready to crash. So there was no extra walking for me. That was plenty. And
Yeah.
that was scattered throughout the whole day. That wasn't one big walk. But yeah, that area is beautiful out there in the Driftless. And we weren't in like mega bluff country, but just the beautiful rolling hills.
It was like a rolling hill. It was before you get to hardcore bluffs.
There was definitely some rubs that I noticed that caught my attention.
Yeah.
Whether
That's
I'll
good.
get back out there or not, I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of neat because like you can camp it. There's lots of easements that are available. Most of them are aimed at fishing. So I almost wonder if it could be overlooked whitetail stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And I would say some are pretty small or checkerboard looking type properties, like weird puzzle pieces that were obscure. Like you can access the property this way, but to get to the whole other end, you actually got to go drive around because it's not connected there. It's very interesting. And we were in the Driftless. I mean, I'm not going to give away any specifics here necessarily, but like if you ever hunted that area, you might understand. It's just most of the public is aimed at easements for trout fishing, and they just happen to have other land kind of just lumped into it that I think you could probably. It wasn't great for turkey hunting, by and large. I don't think. But yeah, I thought it was really pretty, and I was like, "This looks way better for deer hunting than turkey hunting."
Yeah,
like, I can't make sense of turkey hunting yet.
And I had originally thought that maybe we'd have the chance to stumble into some sheds while we were out there walking for turkeys, but it was very green already. So we didn't see any ticks, which was great.
Yeah, I didn't pick any off of me. I didn't notice any. I did buy a pair of Sitka pants that promote Equinox Guard, no tick stuff. They tuck into your boot. You weren't with me when this happened, were you? When I had to.
No, but now I'm interested because I did see how the inner part of the pants had like a inner part of the tight pants legging kind of part
goes into the boot. Keegan, who has the same pair of pants, the same color too, was like, "No, you put that into your boot, but then you lift your sock over that." I was like, "Oh, I didn't see it pictured that way, but okay." So then I had redone it to accommodate that. But I was pretty confident. Even like when we were doing some of the trout fishing, I was wading through waist high grass to get to some of these spots in these streams and stuff. And I was like, there's got to be ticks in this. Yeah. And I felt pretty comfortable and confident that I wasn't going to have a problem with it. So I don't know if there weren't any ticks or if I just didn't have a problem with it.
I did see one tick, and it was on my call when we sat down. Matt, Gus, and I sat down to call. I had set my call down, and there's a little tiny deer tick on it. But I had bought a brand new bottle of permethrin and used up a final. Like I didn't want Gus to have to deal with that, so I soaked our clothes at 2 different times, and we didn't have any on us. So same thing. Don't know if it was a lack of ticks or the permethrin did its job and we didn't have to deal with them. But either way, it worked out great.
Now the prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could have been just that it worked out. So I saw some other people posting that like ticks were like all over them.
Yeah.
So maybe the region where I was okay. I'm not sure. One more comment here before we kind of break off, but Calder said last Bear Grease episode was about a guy from Costa Rica who immigrated and couldn't believe there was public lands to hunt on. It's hard for us to realize how great we have it. Man, you're right about that. I mean, we really, it can be a very slippery slope. It is concerning.
We're blessed to have it, and we just want to make sure future generations have that same blessing.
And for the reasons that we got to experience it, I would. The less there is available, the more crowded it becomes. We already seem to have some sort of problem with crowding of public lands and blaming all sorts of different reasons for that.
And it's not for lack of use. You look at, we camped on some public, ground this weekend. Were we the only ones there? Jeez, oh man, there was people enjoying the shit out of it. Like there was people everywhere. Every piece of property we went to had fishermen, hunters, or recreators on it.
Yep, there was no shortage of people enjoying the properties in some capacity. Like there was not a spot we went that was for public access that didn't have someone doing something at that spot already. Or like depending on the time of the day, we had switched around. It's like, oh, there's a different car there now. Like it's being swapped out, and it's in high demand, high use, which is good to see people out there enjoying stuff. I'll never be one to complain about that too much, other than just like, damn it. But beyond that, then I always try to tell myself, well, they're out there doing the same thing we're trying to do. So like, it's all good, but yeah, take action. We mentioned some resources, the Howl org, the one that you just shared from High Bison, Aaron, right?
Yep.
The BHA stuff. I'm sure there's plenty of others out there. Saw Mark Kenyon talking about the stuff on his platform. I don't know how to stress more that to me, it's a bipartisan thing. I don't think we need to argue about shit.
I think we can all agree that we value this property and we should know what it's going to be used for or discarded for or sold for and what those implications are. If nothing else, just go educate yourself as much as you can about it. So I don't have that full education realized yet. So part of doing this podcast is hopefully I'm going to hear from some people that are going to provide me with additional resources to be like, well, Eric, did you know this, that, or the other thing that I didn't realize? I still have the general concern regardless.
Yes.
So I'll be happy to learn more in favor of it being a good thing overall, but it feels like there's some shady shit happening. It feels a little concerning. We're skirting around the traditional way of like, there's some due diligence that's supposed to be happening here. It feels like that's not happening. Doing it the wee hours of the night to reduce public input seems like, well, why would you do that? Unless you're trying to reduce public input. So that all aside, it's just, this is our resource that we care about. And whether you're hunting on it or not, it's important. So that's maybe where I'll leave this episode. If we're having this talk, like I didn't intend to have this talk until like I realized this is happening tomorrow at 1 a.m. in the morning. I feel like
this is happening
should be
in
something
like
we talk
4
about.
hours.
And next week we'll know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
In a few hours, like we'll have a better
Hopefully
understanding
we
of how
have
it
good
resulted.
news.
Yeah.
On a much less serious note,
Mhm.
just because this is definitely going on with me right now. Matt and I, he's messaging me about summer archery leagues, 3D leagues, a bunch of shoots coming up.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who are still a little bit in deer hunting mode or want to brush up on your shooting skills, there are summer 3D leagues and archery target leagues popping up all across probably wherever you are in this off season. So can't recommend enough. If you've not shot a league before, yeah, they're super fun. But man, is it going to make you 10 times more confident going into our archery seasons this upcoming season? Absolutely. They're amazing. Just getting you shooting your equipment regularly and getting a little bit of pressure when you're shooting in front of people. That's not a normal backyard flinging arrows by myself kind of thing. It kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you and creates a little anxiety, which is the best practice
You want some
you
of
can
those
get,
nerves
because
at full draw.
if you're anything like me, there's some stress at the moment of truth. So go out on a limb, sign up for an archery league. They put you on a team or whatever, but reach out with some friends. It's a great thing to do this summer and keep your skills honed.
Well, I'll echo that. So there's leagues, but you can also go find a shoot.
Yeah.
So if you just want to go attend a shoot, I know Wyatt. I can't say his last name. I can't say his last name. He was with Horicon Marsh Archers for some time in some capacity. I think obviously he was a member there, but I think he was helping with their social. I know him a little bit through agency world, but he just through the grapevine saw that he launched a new website called Wisconsin Archery. So it's just wiarchery.com. And the company is wiarchery.com, which obviously is Wisconsin Archery. But what he's done is he's just kind of taken all of the archery events that are happening in the state and compiled them into one website so you can see them on a calendar.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can pull up a calendar and you can see what archery shoots are happening at what times and what locations and what the event is about. I share that also then to parlay into Foam Fest has officially been launched.
Woo!
You can go register for the event. I know it's been a long time that I've been talking about it. It finally got complete. So if you go to okscenter.com, under our about, you can go to events and it lives there. It's through Eventbrite, just to make things clean, simple, and easy. It's $50 to register this year. We raised the price from $40 after the last 3 years to $50. That's because we're including a free t-shirt and some free tumblers. Free t-shirts and tumblers, plural, for the masses. Each person individually will get a t-shirt, tumbler. You have to register before July 26th to get that stuff because we need enough time between then and the start date of the event, which is August 9th, to get that stuff.
And this is a Foam Fest t-shirt.
It's a specifically designed Foam Fest t-shirt. It's an exclusive, like limited edition, I guess, because like we're not going to make this one again. And when it's done, it's
obviously going to be a collectible. So you're going to want to get your hands on this. Get the shadow box ready. It's going to go down in history.
Yeah. So
no pressure.
You'll be able to get your size entered in. It's a little clunky because Eventbrite doesn't actually give me the ability to do that. So I think you just have to like call it out and we'll need to know ahead of time. So we put the order in with our supplier that like we'll be able to get that shirt in the size that you ordered for the event and into a goodie bag. So yeah, I'm excited for it. It's coming up. It'll be here before we know it, like it is every year. And our giveaway stuff, we're locking arms with BHA Wisconsin chapter. So
they have a license to run raffles. We do not. So there'll be the raffle. And we're also going to try to incorporate some challenges so that it's not all just there's winnings will be based on score of course that you shoot. We've moved up the shooting times earlier in the day. So by the time we get to lunch and raffle, we're not all like lingering for
Waiting
several
for
hours
people to get
waiting
off
to
the
finish the
course.
course. So we reshuffled the agenda of the day or the itinerary of the day a little bit to make it feel like it's going to be better for everybody. But you can win based on course, score, silent auction or whatever it's called, where you put your ticket in the thing that you want to win. We'll draw a prize, and then some challenges that are TBD. We have some ideas floating around, like a knockout round, competition shoot kind of thing at the end, for those that want to stay and participate to win some other stuff. So our partners are really good to us. So we have our giveaway coming up in July, which you'll learn more about, and then we have this giveaway for Foam Fest. Our partners are very generous and gracious to our listeners because we don't get the stuff. We just pass it through to you all, and hopefully that's a good thing. We've done really well with that. I think a lot of people have walked out of Foam Fest feeling pretty good about what they've won, including your daughter
Oh,
and a
yes.
buddy of mine, Joel, who both won bow and arrows from Bear Archery because they're a big participant of this event. So
That family last year, gosh, I don't remember their name, but there was 4 or 5 mom, dad, and the kids came, and they needed a wheelbarrow to get their stuff back to the car. They cleaned house.
yeah, I
They did
remember that.
great. Yeah, they
They
did
were
great.
winning. Called out a question: do we register our spouses or kids? Yeah, I think spouse. If they're gonna shoot, register them. Kids, I mean, as long as they're, we didn't put any age restrictions on that before. If they're under 18, I think they're just in.
Yeah, if your kid is not shooting, like shooting the course,
Yeah, it's not.
you know, if they're
big
not,
deal.
you know, if they're like
But if
15, 16,
Yeah.
and they're like gonna go shoot the course, probably do that. But man,
if they want the
kids-
T-shirt and the
kids come
tumbler,
play.
then yeah, because like
yeah, just
the-
bring the littles.
the cost of the event is predicated on our ability to provide food for breakfast and lunch, pay for the facility and the targets, and then now the shirt and the tumblers and the other stuff that's going in that goodie bag, so to speak. So all proceeds go to conservation. This is a not for profit event. We're not there selling merch. We're not there to make money. We're just here to build community, bring people together, and have a damn good time. So that's what the money is for. It's not for us. Like, I don't really care about it. It's just to cover our costs so we can do the thing that we want to do. But the first year is 20 people. Second year is 40. Last year is about 60. I don't know if that means we're gonna have 80 this year. Like, seems like we grow by a factor of 20 every year if we look at the history. So
I have a question for you, and maybe you don't know the answer this year, but it's not Labor Day weekend.
correct.
Are we allowed to camp there for the night?
That's a good question. So
'Cause
the
I
venue,
think Gus and I would love to
Yeah.
camp. If anybody else wanted to, I think it'd be cool. We have to check on
yeah,
that.
I have to check because the venue just moved location, so the address changed slightly. It's still in the same general area, but it's just like not on the same exact spot. So I'll have to find out if that's permissible. But also, I opened it up for camping 2 years ago, and literally no one did it.
Yeah.
I even tried to promote it. I was like, you can camp overnight, bring your tents, da-da. Dude, everyone was gone by like 6 p.m. And I was like, yes, no one's camping? Like, it was unclear because I thought if someone's going to camp, then I have to stay and
Yeah.
also camp. And then no one stayed. So I was like, well, I'm not going to camp if no one else is camping. So then the following year, which was last year, I didn't promote camping, and it seemed to be fine,
Oh, of course.
So,
I was just curious because
I-
we did that for the BHA State Rendezvous,
which is
when-
cool.
and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so fun,
Yeah, I think they had a different style event though, where they had vendors and
and they had more
one
than
more
one.
going on.
Yeah, more
yeah,
than one day going on.
yeah. So ours is kind of like it is definitely kid and family friendly. Derek does an amazing job with hosting the shed hunt,
It's always fun.
which he sacrifices his own sheds, which I feel like we lose one every year, kind of maybe.
There's
Like
probably
maybe
a
you didn't
few out
recover a
there.
couple.
I don't know.
It's
I
like
gotta
the-
do a better job making a map or keeping track. I just start checking them out.
Start air tagging all of them. But dude, yeah, like straight up there. It's like the Easter egg hunt you do. You know you hit all the eggs, but suddenly you're like, shit, I can't find it. 'cause
There's
you
a
don't know.
purple egg with a $20 bill on it somewhere.
And so it's actually pretty legit. Even though you know the antlers are there, they're still hard to find.
Of course.
And the kids like light up like Christmas when they find them. They also get really sad if they don't, so you got to help them a little bit.
We might have a prize bucket when they bring back an antler. You get a little
Little
prize.
candy. There's coloring books with like woodland creatures to color. My wife Holly usually brings like sensory bins, which is I sigh because that rice ends up everywhere in our van and our garage for the next year. Like, I got rice in places that don't make sense because of Foam Fest.
and beans, rice and beans.
Rice and dried up pinto beans.
Sensory bins with like woodland creatures yet again. We make a lot of trips to the dollar store for this event to get this thing going. So there's a little like playground structure, although again new space. Although I think their indoor is like state of the art stuff. It's pretty incredible having seen the blueprints. So I just don't know what the property looks like in contrast to the other one. But good organization, good venue. If you want to join there as a member, it's not super expensive, and sadly I only get out there for this event. So I have a whole annual membership that I'm not taking advantage of, but it's all right. Anywho,
Cool.
that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks for switching gears.
Yeah, see you.